In the heart of North Africa, from the sands of the desert to the shores of the Mediterranean, rose a man who would change the fate of a nation, only to receive one of the major setbacks of a nation the African continent had ever seen. His name was Muammar Gaddafi, revolutionary, dreamer, leader of the many, the father of modern Libya, which later was turned into a nation of doom. In 1969, a young captain led a group of officers to end a monarchy and reclaim Libya's destiny. He promised dignity, sovereignty, and a future built not on foreign oil companies, but on the strength of the Libyan people. Through the Green Book, Colonel Muammar Gaddafi envisioned a third way, neither capitalist nor communist, but a system where power would belong directly to the people. Under his rule, Libya changed almost overnight. Where once there was desert, there were then highways, hospitals, universities, and homes. How could we list all those without mentioning what changed Libya's destiny for good? The Great Man-Made River, one of the largest engineering projects in the world. It carried water from ancient aquifers to the coastal cities, turning barren land into farmland. It was called the eighth wonder of the world. We brought life to the desert. That was Gaddafi's dream. Before 1969, few Libyans could read or write. Before the 1980s, literacy had soared above 80%. Education was free from primary school to university, even abroad. Girls got a chance to go to college, Gaddafi said. A nation cannot rise if its women are left behind. Healthcare became a right, not a privilege. Every citizen could access doctors and medicine at no cost. Homes were built for the poor. Gaddafi declared that no Libyan should live without a roof. The house belonged to the family, not to the landlord. The wealth of Libya belongs to all Libyans. Beyond Libya, Gaddafi saw Africa as one body, one voice. He championed the idea of a United States of Africa, a continent free from colonial borders and foreign control, a thing that is strongly believed by many as a leading cause for his downfall. He helped in putting up infrastructure such as schools and also influencing liberation movements across the continent. For many in Africa, he was more than a leader, he was a symbol of resistance and pride. He gave Libya a dignity. Before him, Libya was forgotten. Villages received electricity for the first time after his arrival in power. In every achievement, there was a vision to build a nation of equals, bound by pride and self-reliance. In 2011, after 42 years in power, Colonel Muammar Gaddafi, the man who turned Libya from a poor desert kingdom into Africa's richest state, was hunted down and ended his life. The world was told it was a revolution, but behind the headlines lay another story, one of oil, gold, and global power. By the early 2000s, Libya was thriving, debt-free, self-sufficient, and one of the most developed countries in Africa. Free education, healthcare, housing, and fuel, all funded by Libya's vast oil wealth. But Gaddafi had a dream that reached far beyond Libya's borders. A united independent Africa trading in its own currency, free from Western banks. In 2009, Gaddafi proposed creating a Pan-African currency, the gold dinar backed by Libya's immense gold reserves. He wanted African nations to sell oil and resources using this currency instead of the US dollar or euro. If that plan had succeeded, it would have challenged the dominance of Western financial systems. It was economic independence, and that made him a threat. In early 2011, protests swept across North Africa. Western media hailed it as a wave of democracy, the Arab Spring. When unrest reached Libya, it was quickly labeled a popular uprising. But the reality was far more complex. Yes, there was genuine anger, but there was also arms, money, and foreign intelligence moving behind the scenes. What begun as a protest turned into a war within weeks. In March 2011, the United Nations authorized a no-fly zone to protect the civilians. Crowds fill Green Square in Tripoli. Smoke, shouting, and gunfire echo through the streets. But as the nation turned against its leader, it wasn't only Gaddafi, but also his family got involved. Gaddafi's sons weren't just family. They were part of his regime. One of his children, Saif al-Islam, still remains the political face of Gaddafi's family. As NATO's airstrikes intensified, the Gaddafi family faced different destinies, one taken down, another captured, while the rest going into exile. After being captured and arrested by militias, Saif al-Islam Gaddafi was released in 2017. After his release in June 2017, under amnesty law, he embarked on a new immense journey of rejuvenation of Libya. Saif al-Islam is ambitious with a mobilized base to serve as a symbol of reconciliation for some for-regime loyalists, potentially bringing parts of Libya's fractured society together. He is working hard to unify security, militia fragmentation, parallel administrations, and the fractured Libyan state structure into a unified force. He is building influence depending heavily on militia groups, tribal alliances, and the shifting balance of power in Libya. If he manages to gain broader acceptability, including tribal, regional, and militia support and legal clearance, there is no doubt that he could become a significant player in future Libyan governance. However, his arrival raises a number of questions, mostly how he would look at the West that led to the fatal fate of his father. Again, a serious question rises. Won't he awaken his father's ambitions that led to his downfall? Do Libyans now understand how important his father was to Libya? Or they are still brainwashed by Western propaganda that is majorly centered around confusing so-called democracy? But the son of the former great lion of Africa is determined to take on from where his father had managed to make Libya reach. This really seems hard for a nation that is now in shambles due to battles in different regions of the nation. Indeed, Saif al-Islam has a lot of work to do in order to ensure that Libya gets back to its strong nerves. Libya remains politically divided. The country is split primarily between a Western administration around Tripoli, the government of national unity, and an Eastern one around Benghazi under Khalifa Haftar's Libyan National Army. Saif al-Islam has to deal with public services and infrastructure that are still under strain. Frequent power water outages in parts and infrastructure that are damaged by years of conflict.